Apple MacBook. Apple. The official laptop for people who spend $2,000 to sit in a local Starbucks for 6 hours doing work that could easily be accomplished on a refurbished iPad from 2018. MacBook owners don't just buy a computer, they purchase an exclusive entry pass into an aesthetic cult. They view Windows users the same way medieval royalty viewed mud-covered peasants. You have two distinct camps here. First, the MacBook Air crowd. Oat milk latte enthusiasts who genuinely believe Steve Jobs personally blessed their glass trackpad. Then, the MacBook Pro M Max power users, guys who buy a $4,000 machine with 64 GB of unified memory just to browse Reddit, reply to Slack messages, and render a 20-second CapCut video once every 6 months. They will corner you at a dinner party to explain Apple's silicon thermal efficiency like they personally engineered the M-series chip in their garage. Nobody asked, Greg. Nobody ever asked. The stereotype is that they are elitist cafe squatters who get physically nauseous at the mere sight of a USB-A port or a thick bezel. But let's be real. The battery lasts 3 days. The aluminum chassis is black magic, and it never slows down. MacBook drivers know they paid the Apple tax, and honestly, they love letting you know they can afford it. Lenovo ThinkPad. Lenovo ThinkPad. The laptop brand for people who think fun is a dirty word, RGB lighting is a punishable crime, and cable management is a core personality trait. ThinkPad owners are the human equivalent of a brick wall built in 1989. They don't care about thin bezels, metallic rose gold finishes, or glass touchpads. They want a matte black military-grade tank that can survive a 2-story drop, a spilled hot mug of black coffee, and a full nuclear fallout. These people are total cultists, the super fanboys. The red rubber track point obsessives. The guy who will aggressively fight you in a parking lot if you call it a nipple mouse. They fall into two main buckets: Linux sysadmins who haven't seen direct sunlight since 2016, or corporate IT consultants running custom Arch Linux setups on a machine that looks like a government satellite receiver from the Cold War. Jokes aside, ThinkPads are immortal. The keyboards are absolute perfection. The port selection puts modern Ultrabooks to shame, and they will easily outlive humanity. It's total Stockholm Syndrome on a heavy hinge. But if the world ends tomorrow, only 2 things will remain standing: cockroaches and a 2012 ThinkPad T430 still running system diagnostics. Gaming laptops, Asus ROG, Razer MSI. Asus ROG, Razer, and MSI. The official laptop brand. For people who think jet engine fan noise is a human right and RGB lighting directly increases frame rates, gaming laptop owners have made peace with 3 undeniable facts: atrocious battery life, carrying a power brick the size and weight of a concrete brick, and turning every quiet university library into an airplane runway test facility. You have the Razer crowd, folks who swear they bought the MacBook of PC gaming while actively ignoring the fact that their lithium battery is currently swelling like a blowfish. Then there are the ROG and MSI bros, sitting in the back row of an economics lecture with neon green lights pulsing across their keyboard, aggressively alt-tabbing away from Cyberpunk 2077 the second the professor turns around. They will loudly defend their 10-pound setup by shouting about 240 Hz refresh rates, liquid metal cooling, and thermal paste efficiency. But credit where it's due, they get desktop-level horsepower on the go. Sure, the bottom panel burns your thighs at a crisp 95 degrees Celsius. But hey, third-degree burns are a tiny price to pay for maximum FPS and ray tracing. Dell XPS. Dell XPS. The official laptop for Windows users who desperately want the prestige and sleek design of a MacBook without actually joining the Apple ecosystem. XPS owners are corporate middle managers, senior software engineers, and people who casually drop phrases like woven carbon fiber palm rest into casual conversation like they drive a Porsche. They operate with a quiet sense of superiority, thinking, I have open source flexibility and premium industrial craftsmanship. That is, until they put the laptop in their backpack, Windows fails to go to sleep, and it transforms into a literal thermal weapon that drains 90% of its battery while idling. There are 2 camps. Practical developers who legitimately need raw hardware specs combined with a gorgeous 4K OLED screen, and corporate executives who drop $2,000 on an XPS 13 just to look sophisticated on Zoom calls. They are stunning machines with brilliant display engineering, but deep down, every single XPS owner has a traumatic personal story about a touchpad driver update that completely broke their machine for a week. Yet they still buy another one, because when it works, It feels like the pinnacle of engineering. Acer and HP Mainstream. Acer and Mainstream HP. The laptop equivalent of a 2004 Honda Civic with a missing hubcap and a squeaky belt. Nobody wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and says, "My ultimate dream in life is to own an HP Pavilion." You bought an Acer or an HP because it was $399 on Black Friday at Best Buy, and you needed something to type a resume or watch YouTube. HP Mainstream owners fall into two categories: college students operating on a budget of instant ramen and pure hope, or broke uncles whose laptops are 90% McAfee pop-ups and 10% compressed dust. The plastic casing creaks when you touch it, the hinges groan when you open the lid, and the trackpad feels like dragging your finger across wet cardboard. And yet, these machines are the unsung, indestructible workhorses of modern society. They get thrown into backpacks, dropped on concrete floors, abused by toddlers, and they just keep chugging along. They are unpretentious, insanely practical, and prove you don't need to drop $2,000 on a laptop just to pay your taxes, stream movies, and browse Wikipedia. Chromebook. Chromebooks. The car equivalent of a golf cart with a Google logo painted on the hood. Chromebook owners have achieved either pure, enlightened digital minimalism, or they are 8 years old and stuck in a public school district. To a Chromebook user, the cloud isn't just a feature, it's their entire oxygen supply. If the Wi-Fi drops for more than 5 seconds, their $150 plastic slab instantly transforms into a very expensive, lightweight cutting board. They don't install software, they don't play real games, and they certainly don't care about processor specs. They opened the lid, logged into Google Chrome, and decided that was enough computing power for one lifetime. They are either hyper-frugal retirees checking Facebook or minimalist writers bragging about 15 hours of battery life while ignoring that their computer has less processing power than a modern smart microwave. But hey, zero viruses, zero maintenance, instant boot times, and if you accidentally drop it off a pier into the ocean, you can literally just buy another one for the price of a nice weekend dinner with friends. Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface. Presenting the official laptop of people who couldn't decide if they wanted a tablet, a laptop, or a full-blown existential crisis. Surface owners are architects, consultants, and tech optimists who genuinely believed the kickstand revolution was going to sweep the globe. They will aggressively detach the Alcantara fabric keyboard in the middle of a high-stakes business meeting just to draw a quick circle with the Surface Pen, looking around the room to see if anyone was impressed. Spoiler, nobody was. Kevin. Nobody ever was. These are people who love the concept of versatility far more than actual real-world usability. They spend their lives trying to lap type on a cramped airplane tray table while watching their kickstand slide off the edge into oblivion. But respect where it's due. The 3:2 screen ratio is top tier for productivity. The industrial hardware design is gorgeous, and they are single-handedly keeping Windows tablet mode alive through sheer force of will. They will defend that kickstand until their dying breath, insisting that traditional clamshell laptops are primitive relics of the past. It's a tablet that wants to be a laptop, and a laptop that dreams of being art.